And good Tuesday morning as we begin this together. So glad to see each and every one of you. 69 right now. It'll be warm before it's all said and done, up to a high of about 90 degrees. So dress appropriately. A few clouds right now, but that will burn off later, and we'll have sunshine peeking through by late afternoon. That is the schedule. We'll also get into talking about hurricanes. We'll start adding that into the forecast each day. We've got that from June 1 through November. So we'll have this each day to let you know what's going on with that, and some discussion as I get my words properly said this morning. How are you? Hope good as we begin this. Let's see here. What did I see this morning? Let's start today. Who was it? The Blaze, I think, that posted this about a quote that the vice president said. And I'll read it, just because after I read it, I scratched my head. It says, quote, "We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues and to work together as we continue to work, operating from the new norms, rules, and agreements that we will convene to work together, and we will work together." Okay, I guess we're going to work together. That's advice this morning from the vice president. And we'll get into this morning. The nation has done a poll of the most unliked political person in the United States. Guess who that is? And everybody agrees on it. Every single, whether it's Democrat or if it's Republican, or if you're just the guy that's undecided, Kamala, she's at the top of the most unliked. Over everyone. If you'll remember, she was the first out of the presidential election. Even California didn't vote for her, but she became vice president through Joe. Interesting, isn't it? That's just some small thoughts. You may like her. You may disagree with me, but I guess we could just all work together. What a quote. What a quote. Good morning to you. As we begin today, let's start with back here in Meridian as we find out the name of the victim. The Meridian Police Department notified us yesterday that they have identified the victim that was murdered in Meridian just a day or so ago and Eastern Gardens as 43-year-old Gary Moffitt. He was shot and killed around 3:30 a.m. on Sunday morning in the wee hours there. If anyone has information on that, please contact the Meridian Police Department with information. If you saw something in the neighborhood, 485-1893, or simply call Crime Stoppers as we get the identity of the man that was shot and killed. Again, we pass along condolences to his friends and family. An awful thing to happen here in our community as we look at that. Just horrible there. I'm sure you saw this on social media yesterday at some point because it was floating around. It's, as I've said before, it's very hard to track stolen vehicles in the Meridian area. There's those that when you find out about a car, was it really stolen or not? I did see this, and by the time I got a hold to it, the Meridian Police Department was on it. Someone saw it. There were 2 cars stolen from one family. Imagine that. You wake up and you own 2 cars. Nowadays, that's a ton of money. Their Ford truck and their Mercedes-Benz was gone. It was found later, and as we go to what the Meridian Police Department tells us, this is what we've got. They took a report for 2 stolen vehicles yesterday morning off of Newell Road and 45th Court. About 3 hours later, the vehicles were recovered as one of the suspects made several posts on social media bragging about it. Yeah, nothing like stealing something and telling everybody you did it. Hey, look at me, look at me. The 2 juveniles were taken into custody at Old Marion Road Apartments. As I knew this was going about, I got several texts immediately of, hey, there's SWAT everywhere. There's cops everywhere. What is going on? And it didn't take long to quickly figure out that, yep, they had found the vehicles and they moved in on this. 2 juveniles taken into custody. They drove them and parked them in front of the apartment where they were staying after they bragged about doing it. Not going to be the sharpest 2 in the knife drawer there, are they? So they'll do a little time over this. Well, they're juveniles. We'll see what happens as they go to court and face what they've done there. But this is a huge problem in Meridian and really across the state. I urge you to make sure to lock your cars. Now, I've even heard of this, and I cannot prove this. Do not do this. Be aware of this, of leaving your keys in your car, because what the thieves want to do with your car is use it to go do bad things, whether it's robberies or drive-by shootings. I've even heard of cases that I cannot prove that they will find the keys in your car, keep them, and return it to your yard, use it in a crime, and park it back in your yard like nothing has happened, and your car was used overnight. That's happened, I believe. I can't prove it, but I've been told that several times. But I am 100% sure that the stolen cars are either used in a lot of crimes and drive-bys or chopped up. Those are two of the most common things in our area. So never, ever, ever, if you can help it, leave your keys in your car. I can make copies of it. Lots of things that can happen there. So keep it in mind. As we glance around, Jackson, Mississippi just keeps making the news as we look at this. We have one from Jackson, Mississippi, who is being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Why? He murdered an 85-year-old man. How horrible is this? Our elders being killed for no reason. His name is Dukes. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison. A good place for somebody that does that. How horrible that is. And we continue to look at Jackson. They found someone else yesterday murdered in Jackson. I really have got to get to the bottom of this and find out where our numbers are. A month or so ago, we were in the 30s already in Jackson for homicides for the year. They have found another one. A 50-year-old man was shot and killed in Jackson. He was shot in the chest. They have no idea who did it. Just continues to be worse there. This is starting to be a trend in Jackson. I've only heard of one time this happened in Meridian, of a carjacking that was a true carjacking. There's been some that was ended up being family members that argued, but I've only heard of one in the Meridian area over the last 7 or 8 months. But in Jackson, it's starting to be a real common occurrence, carjacking. Pull up at a red light, you're walking to your car, and someone pulls a gun and takes your car from you. It can happen. As they make an arrest in Jackson, the guy had a gun. They reported who he was. Security cameras caught a picture of the guy, and he was arrested later. Don't always have those cameras. Cameras can be a good thing. As we look at that, Tupelo, Mississippi, what's going on there? Let's see. Had a guy in the Tupelo area. Been to Tupelo lately? Beautiful up there. Elvis's hometown. He was trying to set cars on fire in a parking lot. Took the rag, the whole 9 yards, stuffed it in the gas tank. They caught him before any damage was done. You just never know what people are up to as you look around the state. These are things that are happening right here in our state. Good morning to Nelson Granadas. Good to see you, my friend. Also, Linda Blackwell is up. Nick Dowell, how are you? Joy Suttle is joining us. Austin Cunningham, how are you? Last I heard, the SWAT team was disbanded. They had SWAT written on the back of their shirts, is what I was told. Now, I'd have to dig deeper onto that, and it could be as the whole group disbanded, but whoever went in had some SWAT written on the back of them. I'll dig into that, see what we can find out about that. This is beyond, and this has happened in our area too, as we go to Biloxi, the cemetery. Biloxi, in any cemetery, is a place of remembrance. It should be well respected. But vandals have attacked a cemetery in Biloxi and kicked over headstones and broke a lot of vases and things of that nature. They have no idea who did it. We've had it happen here. Doesn't get any lower than that. Do y'all remember when the gate was stolen at a local cemetery? They did get it back. Scrap iron people. They'll steal anything. Don't respect the dead. Why they would do this in a cemetery, we don't know. Eviction. Now, if you're a homeowner or you rent your home out and you have someone who doesn't pay, you want them out of your home, don't you? Mississippi, as we learn into this, has just revised their eviction notice. In the past, it was a lot shorter notice. Now, as it goes into law, they're reporting that the law gives the tenant 7 days to gather their belongings. So if you evict someone, they will have 7 days to get out. If the police have to be called, and Another order, if they don't get out after that, it would give them an additional 72 hours after they're served to get out. So you're looking at roughly 9 days there total to get someone out of your property, whether you're renting them something, a home or a business building. It'd give them 9 days of a new law that's adjusted in the state of Mississippi. Good to know that. Keep up with things that are happening as we watch this across the state there. Might come in handy for you one day. We find out a Canton lady has passed away in a wreck over the weekend there on Highway 16. It happened on late Sunday night there. Identified as Miss Smith. She was 51 years old. Canton. She was ran off the road, had a wreck. We pass along condolences to them, too, as we look around the state. As we start looking nationwide, what's going on? Our borders. This Title I thing that's coming up next week. And by the way, Biden is getting ready to fly out of the country, and he will not be here when this expires, and we're going to be hit with a flood of people trying to get in. They found this week, I don't know if you've seen this, Fox News reporting this morning, that a drug tunnel connecting Tijuana to San Diego has been found, packed with over $25 million worth of drugs in it. It was fully operational. Back and forth they went. We know that that's not the only one. That's just the one that they've caught. $25 million worth of drugs. Just a little square, cut, and underground it went. Pretty smart. They've got engineers working on this. They've got unlimited funds when it comes to the drug lords of what they do across the Mexican border and into the United States. Have you seen this? Joe at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is probably not too happy this morning. He's being called out by none other than Elon Musk. They probably don't like him at the White House now because he says the real president is whoever controls the teleprompter. Y'all think about that. Whoever controls the teleprompter is the president of the United States at this point. You have to give Elon kudos on that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I said, they're not real happy with him at the White House at this point. As we look back at that border thing, they tell us that 234,000 migrants have arrived at the southern border. They're waiting to get in as this wears off. We're going to be flooded by people coming into the United States. An undercover person, and of course all of this is they do these stories, Daily Mail reporting this morning on Twitter. And of course we found out that Elon has this put on hold until they can work out their differences. He has not said that he's not going to buy it, but the purchase has been put on hold until they dig deeper into this. As they do all these different undercover stories and go behind the scenes, they say that, well, free speech is really not an option at Twitter. Behind the scenes, they've got people that if you lean to the right, your product is censored and you don't make it on there. They will delete anything that you put. If you lean to the left, they don't censor it. They've got hidden cameras. They've gone in. They've got people working for them that have said this. Now, can you prove that what they're saying is right? Is it just an opinion? I don't know. But that is the talk this morning. Keep in mind, we have known a lot of people that have been shut down that are on these platforms of Twitter and things that lean to the right. Should be free speech in America, no matter what side of the fence you're on. That's what our country was based on. Don't you agree? We don't all have to agree on every subject, but we can agree to get along. That's the way it used to be. It was when I was a kid. Everybody would go to these fiery speeches, and at the end of the day, you were still friends. You might not agree on everything, but you were still friends and shook hands, and you still went to church together. Let's hope America can get back to that one day. I do. I certainly do. The further we dig into this, one of the things that are wrong with America, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I love your comments. You let us know what goes on there. The gentleman, I won't call him a gentleman. Let me back up on that. That's a wrong statement. The 18-year-old that went into Buffalo and killed those 10 people, which is horrific. 18 years old, really doesn't know anything about life, but decided he hated people, a certain group. Awful. This needs to be dealt with and handled quickly. The video, to my knowledge now, has been taken down, and I did see it. One of the worst things I've ever watched. Would never show anything like that. No remorse. I just wanted to kill. Meanness. As we go to this, relatives of him, when you do something bad, even the family members, if you've got somebody in your family that does something wrong, call it what it is. The family members are now trying to say that it was COVID that drove him to do this, the isolation. I don't buy that, and I don't think you do either. There's many of Americans that were shut down, locked up for, year and a half? Everybody didn't go out and do this. It doesn't give this man an excuse to do this. Again, stand up, admit when you do something wrong, and justice needs to be served on this swift. This is one of the most awful things I've ever seen. An example needs to be made. It'll stop all of this. Too many times we sit back and, I don't know, Hank Jr. had a song about it many, many years ago where they write books and smile on TV. They get paid from prison. And that's all they're really after, is that moment of fame is what they're after. And he's getting what he wants. This gets worse. How many parents do we have watching or people that have grandbabies that are having trouble? I talk to so many people nowadays during the course of a day. This baby formula, it's like a network of people that you know that might be going to town. Okay, check the baby aisle for me. While you're there, take a picture, send it to me. Is there a formula that I can use? Seriously, I hear this probably 10 to 12 times a day now. There was no chatter of it a year ago. It's a problem now as these factories have been shut down. Have you seen the pictures that are out there that are at the border as truly Americans try to find baby formula? It's not out there. And a lot of parents have been forced to give formula that their children can't eat, causing reactions. And then we see pictures from the border of it piled and piled and piled to be given to someone else just in case they need it, instead of given to the families and U.S. citizens. Now, again, I am not saying that children that are at the border don't need formula. They do. And we are a helping nation. But taking away, and it's not even being used. Our American citizens need help. Again, the only way to straighten this out is by example. How do you do that? It's called a little thing in November when you vote. No matter what side of the fence, whether you vote or think like I do, go vote. Don't sit back. So many times I watched the elections in Meridian, and you'll have a town of 40,000 and 3,000 go vote and decide who is the mayor or who's on the city council. Very low turnout. A small percentage of people determine what happens. And that old saying of you can't complain unless you vote. Make sure to register to vote. If something bothers you, you hear something in the news and you just don't agree with it, I know it's small, you're one person, but as a group, you become, a lot of people that vote. It does make a difference. I know Mississippi and the big picture nationwide, as you look at this, our electoral votes are down here, but it does count. Make sure you're one of the ones that go put in your vote, no matter what it is. If it's a county election, it's a city, state level, and then on up, right up to the White House. Make sure you vote. Don't be one of those that just talks about it. Make sure you do your share fair. That didn't make sense, did it? Your fair share. That's what I meant to say. Run for the Wall is coming to Meridian. This is a big deal that will be stopping at the Lauderdale County Agri Center on May the 23rd for dinner, and then they'll get up the next morning and have breakfast as they rumble toward Washington, D.C. for the Wall. Very important as we get near Memorial Day. We remember this. They'll be coming into town on the 23rd. We'll have more on this. And also next week I'll have Van Mack coming in to discuss what's happening in Meridian as we get ready for Memorial Day. Very important also to me and you as well to make sure we remember our veterans and the sacrifices that has been given to this country. So there you go. That's what we've got on that. We're going to take a look at your weather forecast here in just a moment as we get this day going. Good morning, Connie Johns. Glad to see you. Roy Ellis is up. Let's see here. Janice Bounds. Good morning. Reggie McKee is up stirring. Terry Nelson. Glad to see you there. Linda Brazier. Good morning. A lot of you up and going here on this early Tuesday morning. Again, we're going to check the weather next. That's right around the corner. Don't rush off. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, or conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
At the Back Porch, we're bringing families back together for fun, food, and all the things you love to enjoy around your home. Every event starts with a great grill, great cookware, and accessories. Add in some locally sourced meat and dairy, along with frozen vegetables and casseroles, and over 500 brands of spices and sauces. Relax in our chairs, swings, day beds, and have fun with our cornhole boards. From coolers to trailers, we have everything you need. When you see the big chair, you've made it to the back porch.
And welcome back. If this is your first time ever watching, welcome. My name is Scotty Ray. I've been in this little area for quite some time. We go over a few news stories. We let you know what's happening. We also cover the weather for you when it turns bad. We go in detail to let you know where it is and how close it is to you. If you don't mind, share. Let others know what we do. You can also find us on YouTube. Always a great backup to have it on YouTube. When the weather turns bad, have an alternate route. You never know when you're going to get locked out of an account. Make sure you have two ways to get us. Again, you can find us on YouTube under SAM Media, which stands for Southern American Media. SAM Media is how you look that up on YouTube to become a member of that. And I'll put another share there out there where you can click the link and follow that. All right, let's get things rolling and take a look at radar this morning as we go to Meridian Honda Radar to take a look. Look at the state of Mississippi. Really good there. We don't see anything, not even any fog in this state. As we cut across to Alabama, we are showing a slight shower here as we go north of Crestview, as we get into Bruton, Alabama area there, Castleberry. Some light showers this morning, nothing serious. We are showing fog on the coast there around Gulf Shores, Alabama. Foley got a little fog this morning. Robertsdale getting a small shower. If you're going to be heading across there, going through the tunnel at Mobile, be careful, a little fog there on the coastline. Out to our west, we do show that we've got some fog there at Beaumont. And when you near Beaumont 10, y'all be careful. That traffic gets horrendous in those areas as you move here in Jasper and Broadwell, up toward Lufkin, if you're going to be headed in that direction today, out to our west there across the great state of Texas. We do move up the East Coast. We're showing some fog up near Asheville, Knoxville. Look in those areas, Roanoke. As we look at this, actually not raining in the Washington, D.C. area for once. We go back over to Tulsa. We're showing showers there around Wichita. Been there a time or two as you move from Tulsa up to Wichita into Kansas there. Up to our north, we get into Minneapolis, Minnesota. Those areas have some light showers this morning. Also, Nebraska, a few, and we cut across there. And again, as I said, we got a heat wave going on, 52 in North Dakota. When we were showing, -9s and -15s a month or so ago. We moved down that west coast there. Looks good. A lot of fog through there. Las Vegas, if you're out there, be careful in those areas there, as a fire watch is if you're going to make it to the Vegas Strip to enjoy yourself. A lot of that going on around Abilene also, the fire watch warning in effect there in West Texas as well, up through Albuquerque, New Mexico. But no complaints. We'll watch all of this area here. We'll talk about this in a second as we get ready for, well, it's coming. The hurricane season kicks off in just a couple of weeks from now. All right, let's get deeper into the forecast now to let you know exactly what is coming today.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we step back and look at our record highs and record lows, it was 1962 that we had a record high of 93 degrees. 2011, can y'all believe that's been 11 years ago? Yeah, 11 years ago. 43 was a low on that. Hard to believe that that's that long ago. As we look at what happens today, we're going to get 90 in the great city here, Meridian, as we move north, 89 through Philadelphia, and we'll hold that line as you go through Noxapater, on up through Louisville, make it to Columbus. Mississippi State should be right around 88. As we go south through Laurel and Hattiesburg, 92, Brookhaven 90, and even down to Natchez, about 92 degrees today. So a warm one for the state of Mississippi. As we cut across to Alabama, we see that Tuscaloosa, 89 today. We'll get 90 right there in Livingston, Alabama, if you're going to be over there today. Auburn, a little cooler, and we see that it is 87 degrees. As we look at this, well, we're going to get well near normal, which means it's going to just be hot, in other words. Southern Mississippi a little bit above average, and we start to see this starting out in California. Another heat wave will arrive. Give it 6 to 10 days, and it will be upon us. It'll make its way to Texas and then on here. Now, here we are with our 7-day forecast. What's happening? This gives us a breakdown of what to expect over the next few days. As we mentioned today, somewhere right around that 90-degree mark is what we're expecting. Gradually becoming sunny by this afternoon. A few clouds this morning, but warm. High of 90 there. Tonight, we'll get down to a clear sky and 65 degrees. Not bad at all. I'll take 65 anytime. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer as we get into about 93 for the midweek there. Hump day there. 68 tomorrow night. 93 on Thursday as we get to Friday. A great-looking day to end the week, 93. But, Rump Row, what do we get? Saturday. We could have some of our plans messed up as we start looking at this. The possibility of rain on Saturday, a 60% chance of showers. And again, this is going to fall into the afternoon time, after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, can this change? It absolutely can. We're 4 to 5 days out from this. But we'll have gusty winds of about 20 miles an hour Saturday afternoon with this, in that high around 89, 90 on Saturday. But rain chances there. And as we look at Sunday, also getting a rain chance there of about 40%. Now let's go ahead another week into this and go all the way to the end of the month, May the 31st. We're going to hold steady, especially after the 25th. You get into the 26th. Back into the 90s we will go. We'll have a little bit of that normal weather there, a little bit cooler there on the 24th, and then temps get back right where they were as we look at that. Now, one of the big discussions and where you get your weather is always important as we look at this. Now, let's pull up what the National Hurricane Center is telling us. We have absolutely nothing brewing in the Gulf at this time. The Atlantic is all clear. Now, depending upon where you go, you'll have the National Weather Service telling you not to pay attention to anyone but them. There are places that are posting that there's going to be a storm coming toward the end of the month. Is something out there? It hasn't brewed. When it becomes a problem, we will let you know. I will not. It's a thin line there. Even AccuWeather is pointing out that something is brewing. It hadn't become anything, and it's just a slight chance. Some of the meteorologists from around the nation almost try to shame you for even looking at something like that. It doesn't hurt to know about it, but then also look at your official forecast to see if it's made it to there. When it becomes a threat, we'll put it on here. When I see that it has become something that you really need to be concerned about, we'll go with it, no matter who's reporting it, because, well, your life is important. Just because someone says one thing and another, we'll deliver you the latest and most accurate that we can. We'll let you know on that. What's fishing going to do today? Well, the best times. Let's pull it up from Chet's Paint and Body. This is what we got as we look to about 10:30, a minor time to go. Your major time will be this afternoon. Hit the water about 2:30 until right at dark there, about 5 o'clock. It's going to be real good this afternoon to go fishing. Nothing like some summertime fishing. I hope you'll enjoy yourself. Get out and do that. That's a quick look at the forecast this morning as we get ready for another big show. Coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Candace is going to come in. She's getting all dolled up. She's getting her hair ready. And we're going to talk about things that matter to you in our area. We'll give you a full hour of this coming up at 8. You can join us here online at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We've even carried on there. And also, we'll be live locally on television at MeTV, 24.3, 248 on Comcast Cable. Many ways to join us and watch us, and we hope you'll be a part of it. As always, we love your comments. It helps us. Sometimes we can't think of things, and, well, you fill in the blanks for us. Elizabeth Graham, how are you? I see you there. Also, Lisa Berry is up. Good seeing you. Becky Vickers, Rick Joyner. Good folks here. Again, we'll be back in an hour and 1 minute to go live to carry you through this Tuesday morning. Thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you soon as we continue here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: